Hey, so before we get started, this episode of Extra Life would not be possible without the help of Miski Art. She makes amazingly cute t-shirts, and you should definitely check her out. Check it out. Wha-bam! Links are in the description below. Okay, on with the show.
Ah, Jesus!
Excuse me, I'm not used to being a cartoon squid boy.
Hey, hang in there, friendo. Splatoon is probably one of the most enthralling games that I've played in a long while. The vibrant colors, the soundtrack, and the pumping sea bass. The charming character design and the bombastic setting is all so engaging.
Video games are supposed to provide unique experiences using these things on top of concise mechanics. You wouldn't want an uninteresting mechanic or feature in your game, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Right, because you like fun.
It's true. One of the many things is pacing. Just like writing in a book or editing a video, like this one, pacing is very important in video games. Not just when designing the whole scope of a game, but also the moment-to-moment experiences. You can often feel it when a film has poor pacing. There are a bunch of weird cuts, the movement is all janky, and everything on screen seems like a mess.
It's kind of the same with how a game controls. You can feel how weird it is and it cuts you out of the game experience. Like when you have to fight the same bad guy too many times with the same strategy, or when you're having an intense battle and you're about to die, but then you gotta pause, open up the menu, and then find a healing item, and then select it, and then you click, and then you use it, and then your health bar goes back up, and then you're safe, except you're not because the dragon just breathed fire right up your face. Rude.
There can be this disconnect between each of the mechanics, the level design, and the player. It's a little principle that I like to call mechanical pacing. You ever go through a part of a game that just flows well? Ever wonder why in a game a boss happens to get stronger even if he's highly damaged? Or when a game layers the levels and mechanics so then it gets more intense over time? It's to build suspense, so when you survive and conquer, you feel like a damn champion.
Slow and deliberate attack speeds, the downtimes between battles, or even little things like the wait times in a stealth game work the pacing with the opposite effect. The slower pace demands patience and caution, rather than hype and excitement. It is something that needs to be crafted carefully, like the pyrotechnics at a metal concert. The real challenge is taking a player's agency into consideration when designing levels and mechanics, and Splatoon's design philosophy is to maximize a player's enjoyment by layering all of their mechanics in a concise fashion, which benefits the player.
Everything is built around Splatoon's ink mechanic, which demands that the player understands each map's level design and interacts with it in a meaningful way. Spreading ink only benefits the player. It helps you move faster, get to vantage points, provide stealth, reload ink, trap and defeat enemies. Splatoon is a shooter where there isn't a drastic punishment for missing shots, so players of all skill levels can still be useful. If you can't fire straight, at least you're still inking the battlefield, giving your teammates the thrill of swimming around in high speeds and getting to the next location.
Swimming.
Yeah, like squid swimming.
Yeah, like squid swimming, Nick. You're great.
Thank you.
Okay, alright. Just, Splatoon's synergy of all its mechanics drive its mechanical pacing with what I like to call an ink link.
Oh, ink link? And swimming's just terrible.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, okay? I'm not proud of it, but it makes sense. You know why?
Why?
Because the ink is the link to all the other mechanics. It makes perfect sense. The weapons, the movement, the victory conditions, everything. Since these basic mechanics all fit together, the ink link keeps the mechanical pacing concise and fluid.
Okay, yeah, there is a flow to the game which can be applied no matter where you are. Spray ink, swim, get to a new spot, and spray ink. There's a sense of anticipation that gets you wondering, will there be an enemy there? Or will I be free to paint this area? Should I hold down this ground? Or continue to push forward? Because of this, it's not just the mechanics, but how the players interact with them that creates this exciting pace to the gameplay.
The level design presents a plethora of interaction options for different scenarios. The person who can navigate and cover areas more effectively will have a much stronger advantage. This advantage isn't inherently about camping or even racking up the kills, as the game promotes you moving from place to place in order to cover as much ground as possible, and to restrict your opponent's options.
Movement is a core part of the gameplay, so traversing the maps has to feel good. The speed, the flow, the momentum, the squid controls are all so fluid in comparison to playing as the Inkling, who moves a bit slower and more precise. Moving the squid is satisfying because it's well utilized in the level design, while the Inkling feels satisfying to strafe and aim with. The Inkling will only be out to aim and shoot, so these contrasting control schemes complement each other.
Yeah, exactly. That juxtaposition between those two mechanics provides context so that the controls feel good for different reasons, and the mechanical pacing complements almost every scenario, meshed and blended together like a nice smoothie.
Even the transformations in and out of squid form isn't a big song and dance like an episode of Sailor Moon. Although an Inkling magical girl costume would be goddamn amazing.
Frankly, I think the transformations look like they're turning into pudding, but that's just me.
Yeah, they look like something out of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, ugh.
Nasty. But as long as you're going to be playing as an Inkling, you're going to be using weapons. Weapons are a huge part of Splatoon, and each one has a different sense of mechanical pacing. Some weapons are great for being fast, spreading ink quickly and putting pressure on your opponent, while others can be more slow-paced, but great for defense or sneak attacks. Even though the sniper-like charger weapons aren't the best at spreading ink, they are great as a support role and can ensure that your team stays in control of the map, in comparison to a weapon like the arrow spray, which has a really high fire rate, so you can spray like a Coke bottle in a Mentos factory, just without as much trajectory.
It's probably not as sticky as well.
I don't know, this squid ink looks like it's pretty goopy.
Yeah, but like, it looks viscous, but not like...
No, you're right. Okay.
Like, you know, when you're at a party or something and someone's like shaking up a can and then it gets on you, and that you're just gonna feel sticky for like the rest of the night. Like, ugh. Do you think like the little Inkling kids will like go home and their parents are like, oh, your clothes are ruined, they're all sticky, go have a shower?
No, because every time they get covered in ink, they just explode. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, it just got real.
The mechanical pacing is what's real. It's not even limited to weapon comparisons. The slosher weapons will have you chuck ink, and it's highly effective in close quarters. But the arc you throw ink in is great for getting over barricades, or tossing them from high places. You can regain control or force your enemy to be defensive.
Every weapon has a use for a different sense of pacing and purpose. It's interesting to see how all of these players interact and conflict with one another. Do you sneak around the sniper, or do you try to apply pressure? A good player will make that decision based on their weapon.
So Splatoon's mechanics all work together to establish a pacing that is engaging and open to the player. There are dozens of options, and the player almost always has something to do, but it's pushed even further with the level design.
Like, way further. Like, I don't know if they use the metric system or Imperial, but like, far.
It's liters.
They measure distance in liters.
Yep.
Not like parsecs or something.
Parsecs?
So good level design is how areas complement different styles of gameplay and showcase the depth in these mechanics to give any player their time to shine. Curvy inclines, vertical sections, narrow or open spaces, etc. On one stage, becoming a squid for stealthy ambushes is best for keeping enemies back, while others promote climbing to distinct points to make it rain. For instance, Port Mackerel has two open areas with small hallways connecting them together. This map is all about watching your corners and bottleneck skirmishes while trying to push through the middle. You can slow down the pacing, bring the patience, and be crafty around the corners, only to burst out of the enemy's open area and splat up shop.
Once you get back in the flow of things and feel that you have control, you look at your game tablet and you see that the enemy did the exact same thing in the opposite side. So you're alternating between the two open areas, squid jumping for speed or being stealthy for supportive ambush. The mechanical pacing of the level is used to give players the sense of urgency, but also insecurity in the hallways. Kinda like high school.
Did you get beat up a lot?
Let's not talk about it. I got splattered a lot. The tower control levels have a stronger sense of urgency, as certain areas of the map are more trafficked, and matches will start with players trying to create the most efficient way of getting to that position.
In order to do that, some players will use their sub-weapons or hide in the ink, so you can either sneak up on approaching captured towers, or wait for the tower to get a little bit closer so that they can use the level design to set up a better ambush. But that also means that the more you lose, the closer the enemy is, so there is less distance for you to get to the objective. A good match can constantly go back and forth.
Splat zones, on the other hand, is basically like a bright light in the darkness that you're lured to, just for it to end up being an anglerfish. Ugh, gross. As soon as you get to the zones, you gotta spread your ink frantically and just wait, stealth it out. Prepare some traps and ready yourself for the horde to come.
Unless you've got a buddy with you to cover and hold him off and keep the zone captured and do that thing where we clasp our hands together like, Predator or something? You know what I'm saying, Nick?
Yeah man, back-to-back splats.
Exactly.
You can always use your tools to support your friends, or push back the enemies. You can even stay away from the goal and keep a prying eye on enemies that approach. It slows down the pacing of the game, but at least you're dictating that pace. For instance, I set up these radars so then my allies can jump there straight after spawning. I have to wait a little while to set them up, but I'm helping control the pace of the map and putting pressure on my enemies.
Splatoon's mechanical pacing has a present and constant effect on its players. You almost never see someone doing nothing, or just running. They are always doing what they can to make an impact. And even the inclusion of the last-minute music change can really amp up players to pull a huge comeback. It may not be exactly a mechanic, and neither is looking between the tablet and the screen, but it is another thing that drives the pacing, another element that you have to interact with as a player.
Mechanical pacing can be found in every game. So the next time you play something, pay attention to the flow of the level design, how many inputs you're doing, or even the times it takes to stop and assess your surroundings. But Splatoon is built to have a very constant flow, no matter what item you use or the game type. It is vibrant and engaging the whole way through.
You could say that the game is designed to stay fresh.
Thank you, Todd.
Stay fresh, Nick.
Thank you,
They
Todd.
say that at the beginning of the game.
They do.
That's what we made a reference to them in the beginning of the video.
Yep.
This joke is fresh.
You're fresh, buddy.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. Now I'm gonna go ahead and steal the outro because Nick was talking about some dumb thing. So let me just tell you guys to watch whatever he put on the screen. I don't know what it is, but you should probably watch it because it's probably a video that you want to see. And then on the other side, there's probably a video that I made, and you should watch that too, because it's probably about Splatoon, because I made one about Splatoon, so I'm hoping he put that one there. Nick, did you do that?
I'll let you know when. I mean, future me will probably edit words on the screen to say he did.
Okay.
Because I haven't done it yet, because we're recording this in different ways.
Well, you are like 14 hours ahead of me, so I just assumed that you'd already done this with the audio that we are doing right now, but I guess it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but like further in the future.
Okay, alright. Well,
Like future me.
is he gonna have a big Fu Manchu?
No.
Alright.
I don't have the density in facial hair to make something like that.
Alright, well. Oh well. Still a good video.
Your videos are good. Shut up.
Okay.
Go watch Todd's stuff.
Okay. If you want.
Just cut it. Cut it right there. Woo! God damn it, Todd.